3 weeks ago, I received a message from a married woman that said this: "I've been married for 8 years, I have 2 children, and I just did something I never imagined I would do. And the worst part is, I don't feel any regret." You know what's most unsettling about that message? It wasn't the only one. In my inbox, there are exactly 47 messages with practically identical stories. And today, I'm going to reveal the psychological secret that the marriage industry would prefer you never know. Because if this were to become widely understood, 60% of marriages could be on shaky ground starting tomorrow. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you the 3 precise signs that indicate a married woman is about to cross that line. And believe me, the third one will completely shock you. But first, I want to ask you a question that will probably make you uncomfortable. Have you ever wondered why, in certain contexts, many married women seem to flirt more than single women? No, it's not just your impression. There's a documented phenomenon that some psychologists describe as the paradox of compromised security. Let me explain it with a true story. I met Valentina during a photography course. She was wearing her wedding ring and talking about her husband every 10 minutes. At first glance, she seemed like the ideal wife. However, something didn't quite add up. Every time I told a funny story, she was the one who laughed the most. Whenever we took a break, we ended up talking. And in every conversation, she found a way to mention how busy her husband was. In the third class, I understood something important. She wasn't talking about her marriage to brag about it. She was actually justifying why she needed attention from another source. Here's the secret that almost no one tells you. A single woman protects her heart because she's emotionally available. In contrast, a married woman feels that her heart is already committed, so she lets her guard down. And it's precisely in that false sense of security that the unexpected happens. She thinks, "I'm just being nice. After all, I'm married. Nothing can happen." But that very idea is what ultimately makes her vulnerable, because when emotional defenses disappear, emotions find a way in uninvited. And now comes the really important part. After analyzing hundreds of cases, I discovered 3 psychological reasons why a married woman can fall more easily than a single woman. And the first one will completely change your understanding of relationships. Reason number 1, invisible emotional hunger. Pay close attention, because this is the root of it all. When a woman is single and starts dating someone, that person is already special simply by being there. There's excitement, novelty, and uncertainty. But after many years of marriage, something begins to change. Let me tell you what Carolina, 34, who has been married for 9 years, confessed to me. "My husband is a good man. He works, comes home, has dinner, looks at his phone, and goes to sleep. He doesn't do anything wrong, but he also doesn't do anything to keep the relationship alive. It's been 4 years since he sincerely asked me how I feel. It's been 3 years since he stopped looking at me as if I was still an interesting woman. And 2 years ago, I stopped waiting for him." Here, an uncomfortable truth emerges. Many married men make the exact same mistake. They believe that because they've already won over their partner, they no longer need to continue seducing her. They think the ring guarantees attention forever, and that's precisely where they begin to lose everything. While they live comfortably within the routine, she begins to slowly die of emotional starvation. I'm not talking about sexual hunger. That comes later. I'm talking about the need to feel seen, heard, and desired as a woman, not just as a wife or mother. Then another person appears. He doesn't need to be especially attractive. He doesn't need to have money. He just needs to do one very simple thing. Give her your full attention. Ask her what she thinks. Remember what she said last week. Look her in the eyes while she speaks. And suddenly, boom! That woman who seemed completely protected behind her ring feels alive again for the first time in many years. That brings us to the second reason, and this one is even more powerful: the fantasy of the man who truly understands her. Every married woman holds onto an idealized version of the man her husband once was. At the beginning of the relationship, he was attentive, curious, and romantic. But as time passed, that version began to fade. And this is where the real danger lies. When another man displays precisely those qualities she misses, the brain does something automatic. It begins to project onto him the lost version of her own husband. She's not really seeing you completely. She's seeing what she once saw in him, but in his best version. Let me tell you about Daniela. She was 36 years old, a successful woman, and married to an engineer. On paper, her marriage seemed perfect until she met Javier at the gym. Javier wasn't more attractive than her husband. He didn't earn more money either. However, Javier always asked her how her day had been, recommended interesting, and remembered her personal goals. Daniela confessed something to me that I'll never forget. At first, I thought it was just a friendship, but one day I realized I looked forward to my conversations with Javier more than any conversation with my husband. And the worst part is, I didn't feel guilty. I felt understood. Do you see what happened? Javier never won her over using special techniques. He won her over by being what her husband had stopped being, an emotional presence. And therein lies the real trap. Because when a woman develops a deep emotional connection with someone who isn't her husband, the line between right and wrong begins to blur. But wait, because the third reason is the most controversial of all. And if you're a married woman watching this video, you'll probably feel like I'm describing exactly what's going through your mind. Reason number 3, the unconscious permission of martyrdom. This is the darkest part, and also the one that almost no one dares to mention. Many married women live with an internal narrative that goes something like this. I've sacrificed everything for my family. I left dreams behind. My body changed. My career was put on hold. I've given, and given. They consciously believe that this sacrifice is noble, but unconsciously, this narrative grants them psychological permission. Permission to feel that they also deserve something just for themselves, something that isn't for the children, or for the house, or for the husband, something that is exclusively theirs. Listen to what Andrea, a 41-year-old mother of 3, wrote to me. For 12 years, I was the perfect wife. I quit my job to raise my children. I gained 33 pounds. My husband travels constantly for work while I hold the entire house together. One day, I met someone who made me feel beautiful again. And you know what my first thought was? I thought I deserved it. After everything I've given, I deserve to feel that way again, even if just for a moment. This is what many therapists call retroactive justification. She never planned to be unfaithful, but when the opportunity arose, her mind had already constructed a complete explanation for why it would be acceptable, why it would be okay, why she felt she had earned it. And here's the most disturbing detail. The better wife she believes she was, the more powerful that internal justification becomes. It's as if her brain is saying, I've done everything right. I followed every rule. I've been perfect. And yet, I feel empty. So maybe the rules never worked. Maybe I can break them. After hearing all this, you're probably wondering, how can I recognize when a married woman is going through that vulnerable moment? Here are 3 signs that almost never fail. Sign number 1. She starts sharing very personal frustrations about her marriage, even if she disguises them with humor. She'll say things like, my husband is a mess, ha ha ha, but I love him. That laughter is just a mask. The frustration is real. When a married woman starts to vent to you about her relationship, even lightly, she's opening an emotional door. It's as if she's saying, there are cracks here, and you can see them. Sign number 2. She constantly looks for reasons to interact with you. Messages without a clear reason, questions that Google could easily answer, casual invitations that seem innocent. Hey, I'm going to stop by that coffee shop you recommended. Want to join me? It might seem spontaneous, but it isn't. She's creating spaces to connect with you outside of her busy life. And the third sign, the most revealing of all, she starts confiding things in you that she doesn't even tell her husband. When she says, I haven't told anyone this, not even him. At that moment, you stop being just an acquaintance. You became her emotional refuge and secret refuges.